Hi guys, in this episode, these 4 verses from chapter 6 talk about love, sex, and of course, masturbation. Now, these 3 words is what more or less is associated with the Hindu affirmation of brahmachari. Now, when we take a look at this subject is what something everybody wants to hear and talk about, but very few of us openly talk about it because it is still apparently considered taboo to actually mention such topics out in the open public. Now, when we talk about sex and when we talk about love, the biggest mistake that we make is we think both are interrelated to one another. And the truth cannot be far from it. Now, a major American sexologist and a sex researcher concluded with their study that sex and love are completely different. Now, many of you guys who are watching it from metro cities may wonder, well, isn't that a given? But many people in the rural cities or many people who are not aware of sex always and still do think that sex and love are still interconnected, and it is not two distinct things. And that is why in the 20th century, 2 famous sex researchers concluded that sex and love can be different through analytics of data. Very simply, sex is nothing but one human body exerting some force onto the second human body. Now, in this case, this force can be measured in terms of graph, in terms of any other form of data where we'll be able to analyze this in detail. However, love cannot be spoken in the same term. Love cannot be measured in terms of words, in terms of data, of graphs or anything, but can only be shown through actions.
And that is why the Bhagavad Gita says, man should have control over his sex life and not the other way around. If the sensual impulses dictate terms to you, then it is a trap. There are more than just the physical aspect of sex. The Bhagavad Gita talks about the mental state and reason for pursuing a sexual desire. For most, the mental state is corrupt and reason is dissatisfied, and this is the very reason why the code is to abstain from masturbation.
Now, it is safe to assume that a person with such precision and has no sensual pleasure, he is not human, because such a person is verily divine in nature. And that is why the Bhagavad Gita says that when we are focused on self-pleasure through sensual natures, it causes more damage than it helps our body. And one simple example for that is masturbation. Now, when we talk about masturbation, the medical community has proven that it does not have any side effects to the physical body, which is 100% true, but it has a side effect to the mental body. And without the mental body, what is the use of the physical plane, which is just a mere object in front of another person? You see, when you release semen for self-pleasure, there is always the question of why you're performing the act that you're performing. There is a sense of dirty, corrupted thoughts that go in your mind when you masturbate. It is not a sensual pleasure that you generate through having sex or while being intimate physically with another person. This is completely within your mind where you play dirty tricks. And in science, it is mentioned that the semen is what brings another life into this world. And as a human being, we are wasting that life. This is completely scientific when we say that when you are releasing so much of energy out for waste, then where are you going to be able to concentrate on one particular object? See, when we release semen, it takes a considerable amount of energy for us to release it out into the open. And if we are going to do that, we are thereby cheating ourselves by going for a temporary pleasure than focusing on the true hidden meaning about the same. And that is why it says, especially in yoga, that when you retain your semen and when you perform the Sirsasana, which means standing upside down, your semen goes all the way from your nutsack all the way to your brain, and this generates in a much better thinking process of your whole system, because what happens here is what is channeled upwards. The more the dirty thoughts that you let yourself be corrupted with, you're no longer a brahmachari, as you are just refraining from it physically with another partner, but you're still pursuing it with self-pleasure and your thoughts that corrupt it. The true brahmachari, as per the Bhagavad Gita, is someone who sees a naked woman who is needy and desperate for physical love, but still completely refrains from it, because brahmachari is not capable by a common man. It is a true divine nature which can be attained through stringent practice, unmatched devotion towards the same subject. Now, this topic should be taught in more schools, should be taught in more colleges, and parents should be open enough to talk to their children about this topic in order for them to express their true nature and understand that physical pleasure is not everything in life. When the parents don't talk about it to their younger ones, the children assume things about things that they don't know. And as we have seen throughout the Bhagavad Gita, assumption is the root cause of all misunderstanding that happens in the universe. And that's the wrap for this particular episode in the Bhagavad Gita. And in this video, we have covered 4 verses from the 6th chapter, from 14 to 17. And in the next video, we'd be finishing and capping off the entire 6th chapter. And until then, it is goodbye. And of course, thank you for watching.